I am big is about sharing what's working in a big way. Our guest today has redefined what living big means to him. With the recent economic downturn, like many of us, John found himself struggling to keep up with his bills. He was on the verge of being without a home and a car. Rather than giving up, he made some big changes. Let us find out where John is today. Please welcome John to the I Am Big Show. Well, John,
Hi, Ayush.
look
How are
at
you?
you. Now, who's the star here? Let's just have a contest. Who's the star and who's younger? Oh my God, look at you. You look fabulous. How are you doing?
I'm fine. And
Yeah?
yourself?
Are you now doing a film in Hollywood? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Yeah?
We'll see.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
definitely
you.
our star today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And looks like you've chosen the
Cheers.
life-giving water as your drink.
Yes, I have.
Why?
Well, first and foremost, if it wasn't for water, you and I
keep
and
it on
everyone
if you
else wouldn't be here
Yeah.
because it does sustain life, and it's also good, because it is natural. It's Mother Nature's
Love
natural
your
drink.
hair and skin, by the way.
thanks.
Is that because of water? Hold on, let me have some more. If that's why it is.
I don't know. It's probably a combination of things.
Do you also think that it's kind of getting back to basics and enjoying what nature has given us versus looking for just crazy stuff out there? Water, does that help too?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, nature did create some beautiful things for us, for all of us, right? And then
Definitely.
we just
Definitely.
tamper it and damper it and flavor it and season it and
Instead of just letting it
Letting it
be,
be.
we
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have to kind of manipulate it.
yeah. Well, you've been a wonderful friend to me all these years, and also just knowing you and talking, I know that with the economy downturn and things like that, times were tough for a lot of us, including yourself.
Yes.
And I remember that you were at a point where you had almost in the verge of losing some basic necessities like home and car and things like that. But I also do remember that you didn't give up. So tell us about your experience.
Well, I've always been a survivor and managed and so on and so forth, but I think I just kind of got caught up, as a lot of people did. And of course, being in the real estate business, I'm on 100% commission, and I guess I just kind of maybe didn't budget properly. And of course, when the money was coming in and the market was good and so on and so forth, the economy is great. You kind of don't think of maybe so much what's going on in the future, and so it's just poor planning.
When you say caught up, what do you mean? Tell us more.
Well, I mean, just I guess maybe it's just human nature. We just think, well, things will keep going and going as it is, and you don't kind of step back and say, well, maybe I need to rethink what's going on.
Would you say that you were overindulging into things?
I mean, maybe just living a little more outside of my means type of thing, and then just thinking, well, the money's going to keep coming. I mean, sure, it always has. And so then, of course, when the downturn happened, and then, of course, the commissions were less and less, and then it's like, then I started to worry. It's like, geez, what am I going to do?
So what happened? So I know the economy and the checks gotten smaller and things like that. But did you just one fine day realize that if you don't do something, you're not going to be able to survive, or what happened?
Yeah, it was getting to the point where it's like, well, something has to be done because I can't go on like this forever, And so I had to make some changes.
So did you just find yourself being stuck in a financial rut? Is that kind of, and what impact did it have on you and your life around you?
Well, basically, then you start to worry. I guess maybe I could say I went into a little bit of a depression type thing. and maybe not getting enough sleep and so on and so forth, and then your mood changes because you're worried and you're wondering. It's like, well, gee, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get out of this?
What was the lowest moment? I think, like, when was it, like, it's like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? What was it?
Well, as you see what you do have saved, it's dwindling, and of course, the money isn't coming in. I mean, there were several months where no commission was coming in, no monies were coming, so more was going out than was coming in. And so I know the type of person that I am, I try to handle and deal with those things on my own. You know what I mean? And so I didn't really kind of maybe talk too much about it, just kind of kept it more to myself.
Thank you for sharing with us today, by the way.
Sure.
No, really, thank you.
Yeah. And so, got to the point where, I guess I thought I had it in control, you know what I mean? But really not, because it's like, okay, what am I going to do? I mean, how am I going to pay the rent and the car note and whatever other things, and it's like, well, am I going to lose this? Or maybe it is for the better and I'll learn by it. Because, I have never experienced something like that before at all, where I got to that point where it's like, wow, am I going to be homeless? And I don't know if you remember, maybe it was my way of kind of calling for help. When I made that statement on Facebook, it was like, I can't stand myself. And at that time, I couldn't. It's like, what am I going to do? I mean, I was just thinking, and of course, all these people and friends and stuff were, making comments, and you're great, and you're this and that, and whatever.
Well, I remember we came to your door.
And people stepped up to the plate.
And stood out for a couple hours, and you were out there and walking in the winter somewhere.
So, well, but it was trying to clear my head, trying to think, how am I going to do this, And it is embarrassing, because it's like, you have your family and your friends, and they think, this is going on and things are going well, but in actuality, they're not. So it's an embarrassing thing to reach out and say, well, gee, I need.
Do you really feel that? Do you now how old are you now?
52.
Wow, I'll kill to look like you at 52. I'm 35.
I wonder when the last time he had his eyes examined.
I'm very good contacts, trust me. Long-lived contacts. But, and this is very recent, right? We're talking the last 2-3 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, do you think that at 52, and maybe at that time about 50, which is a great age to be, one has seen so much of the world, but there's so much still to see. Mm-hmm. Did that contribute to this whole idea that it's embarrassing to ask for help, or what was it?
I don't think it had anything to do with age. It's just, I just think, people around me, maybe the way I appeared and things I had, or thinking, well, he's probably doing okay. Same with my family, and so it's almost like, well, like maybe I was, like there was a facade, or almost like living a lie, because it really wasn't, and so it is embarrassing, to say, well, gee, this is my situation, and so what do I do? Because you don't know what to do.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on. There's a financial situation, there's emotional.
Exactly.
What were the changes you made?
Well, basically, obviously I had to watch my spending. The apartment, that I was living in, I had to give that up, which I was okay with it,
How much were you paying?
It was like a little over $1,000 a month.
And now you're living in more like a community setting, right?
Correct. It's kind of sharing a house, so it's like
beautiful. I was just there
it's
the other
half, and then including utilities and everything. So I don't have any additional expenses.
So half the burden on rent.
Correct.
And then I remember you had 2 cars.
Correct.
What did you do with those?
Well, one was a vintage car that I had that I sold. Mm-hmm. I had to sell it for a lot less than it was worth, but I had no choice. I had to get rid of it, and plus the garage, that I was renting, so I had to kind of eliminate that expense. Mm-hmm. And then my other car, which was my main car, the decision was to, sell that, and I was able to get enough to pay the loan off, and then of course, went with a much lesser car. Although it was new, it's a lesser value. And of course, my parents did help me with that. And, of course, they're, you know, they were asking me quite a while because they knew how the economy was going, and I didn't want to let them know. But eventually, I did. I had to tell them, and of course, I had to hear, the speech and whatever the parents give you.
But
and
sometimes
that.
what parents say are important.
Right,
I
exactly.
think it wouldn't get us into a lot of
But
trouble.
they care and they love me, and so they were willing to help. Because they're not going to just leave me out in the cold. So.
Thank you, parents. Absolutely.
So I'm grateful for that, and grateful for everyone, my friends and stuff that, were there to support me. Some people said, well, you can come live with me, you can do this and that. And I was like, I really appreciate it, but I'm like, I have to do this on my own because I always have, and maybe that's how I was raised or taught or whatever. But it's like, I've got to do this on my own. It was great that they were there to support me, but I just didn't want to say, well, yeah, I'll take this and I'll do this. Because to me, when you look at that, if something didn't go right or whatever, then you could ruin friendships. And I don't burn bridges.
No, you're a very loyal person, and you've always been there. But it's amazing, listening to you speak with such grace and pride about the changes you have made. You have a much smaller car today, but you do have a car.
Right.
You have a much smaller place to live, but you do have a place. It's in a bigger home, but your private space is smaller. Were you angry at all in this process with yourself or the world around you?
Not angry at the world, and I didn't blame the economy and stuff because I own it. I would say that anything that's ever happened in my life, I own up to it. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, it's the economy's fault or this fault, because it affected me in a way, but really I would say I have myself to blame, and I've told everybody that, even my parents and stuff. I'm like, and maybe some people thought I was beating myself up, but it's like, it's the truth. So I own up to my errors and my mistakes.
I know that your beautiful pet, Benjamin, your beautiful cat, right, has been through this whole thing with you, and always been, sitting there and hugging and cuddling. Just love him. What did his companionship mean to you in this whole process?
It was great, because I think people take animals or their pets for granted, and they really shouldn't. I mean, he's always been there, and it's very interesting when you communicate and stuff like that. You
I know you talk to Benjamin.
I do, and he knows exactly what you're saying.
Tell us if you talk to your cat or other pets as well.
No, I mean, he does.
Michelle, do you? Okay.
I mean, seriously,
Okay.
they're a living being just like anyone else, so they do communicate, and I think he knew, when there were times where, I wasn't feeling right or whatever, because they do give you comfort, and they're very loyal, and it's a very unconditional love. Sure.
Is Benjamin as happier in the smaller space and just everything, the changing surroundings, as he was before?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So
He
what a
loves
lesson.
it, and in
What a
fact, a couple of my housemates, he loves it. So he likes a lot of
company.
attention.
Yeah.
So he's getting it,
Yeah.
I guess you could say he's very spoiled. So.
No, it's good to be a little spoiled. It's good to be spoiled by human emotion.
But, I also have a responsibility to him, too, because, I had him since he was a kitten, and it's my responsibility to make sure he has a place to live and food and comfort and love. Some people that I know, they were suggesting, when I was going through my situation, well, just get rid of him. Like, get rid of him. Would you get rid of your child?
Yeah.
Thank
you. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think, did that motivate you more to kind of get out there and do what you got to do?
Well, yeah, because it's not only was me, but and maybe some people might think it's silly and but it's not. I mean, we share a bond. And I thought, gee, if I gave him to a shelter or whatever, it's like, well, what'd that really do to him? He might not be the same.
Really, honestly, thank you. Thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for being you. Thank you. I have learned a lot from you, and I think for every viewer watching today, it is an honor and a privilege for me to have a friend like John and to be able to share this with you, because I feel that we all in our lives, some financially, some in different ways, hit rock bottom. But having the support and feeling comfortable enough to reaching out to that support and then getting the support you need to get back yourself with a plan to a place where you really, really feel better about what's going on is the way to be. So, John, thank you for being so candid and sharing your experiences with us, because someone somewhere watching right now hopefully can reach out to a friend or can reach out to an organization and get the help they need. And if you need some resources, please visit our website at iambigshow.com and stay tuned with us every Saturday. Love you guys and love you.
Thank you.
All the time.
Love you.
Welcome.
All right.
Welcome. Thank you.